Hey guys, Glenn here, and today we're going to be adding a door to our base. As you can see, I've pretty much already got the framework in here, sort of. I added the reinforced glass into the door, and the last block of the reinforced, stone. And yeah, basically I've started to set up some machines as I showed you these last time. I've also put a I/O expander on, which basically allows you to send redstone commands through the actual monitor here. But it has to go through what's called a CPU, or central processing unit. You have one in your computer too. It's basically like a if you like a command center for all your different mechanical devices. And yeah, down here we have all this bundled redstone wire. Comes down here. You'll understand this more later, and it splits off into individual colors. And the colors are how you can send commands to different motors through the same interface, if you like. But we'll run more into that later. And do here, I've just got two frame motors. Frame motors are actually really hard to make. If you've ever had a look at them before, it looks pretty simple. Like, these are pretty simple, and brass is really simple, really. It's just iron and copper. No, not iron, tin. But once you get to the blue electric motor, this part is all easy, but copper coils, that's still easy. Then you look at fine copper wire, and for this you need a diamond draw plate, and the diamond draw plate is basically like a tool, it has just durability. So once you've made it, you don't need to make it again. But obviously you need a iron block, which you then cut into panel strips, and a diamond block, which you then cut into diamond panels. Luckily, once you've cut them into panels, you can then use the panels to get back most of the diamonds. So this thing will only probably cost you about 3 diamonds to make, but obviously you'll need 9 diamonds to build it to begin with. But once you got it, you can use it forever. So, well, pretty much forever. It has a very, very long durability, so you don't really need to worry about it that much. So the idea here is that we put like frames around here, and we extend it downwards a bit. And the reason it's so far down, because obviously I only really want to move it like 3 blocks, is because if I place like a support frame here and I don't cover it up, it's going to move these glass panels and everything here downwards too, which I do not want. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up these. But then, for instance, if I put like the motor here and I tried to, these will had covers on them so they don't like move anything to the side, the frame motor can also not move them if they have covers on. So to stop that from happening, I've moved them downwards. I'm just going to bring my frame downwards a lot more, so I won't have to worry about that problem. So the only thing I've got left really to set up here is my thermopiles. And the thermopiles are this little kind of cautionary wire, which also goes down to the frame motors. And they are the way of powering the frame motors. Frame motors do not run off EU or MJ, they run off bluetricity. And the way you can do bluetricity is you either use thermopiles, which I'll show you here how they're made. They're really simple to make, but they do not generate much. As you can see, these things are pretty simple. That's just, yeah, need a lot of alloy furnaces to make them, but yeah, they're fairly simple. Or you can use solar panels, which are slightly harder, but on in comparison, they produce a lot more bluetricity than the thermopiles. But I do prefer thermopiles simply because you can have them underground, and basically you can set them up somewhere and then just ignore them. They're great. So the idea here is you put a thermopile above a lava source block, and then you surround it with water on each adjacent block. So that block, that block, that block, that block. They can sort of share blocks, as you can see what I've been doing here. And once you've got that set up, it's going to generate power passively and transfer it into this battery box, which is then going to warm up, and from there the battery box obviously just brings cable down to our lovely frame motors. So that's great. That's going to mean basically the battery box takes a while to charge up with thermopiles, but since you don't use the door very often, this basically will probably charge up between uses anyway. So it's an okay source of power. So now that we are kind of sufficiently fueled up, shall I say, we can go ahead and work on our door. Hopefully get it working by 10 minutes time, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So the first thing I probably want to do is go get some frame covers, and as by magic, here they are. I basically just went and got them. So you can use these like on here, and they'll sort of cover one of the sides up. It's pretty neat. One of the other things I should probably explain is why I have 16 IO expanders in my inventory. And I recently updated to the latest version of Mindcrack. I don't know if it was in the previous version of Mindcrack, because I only really used this Bluetricity stuff on TechIt before. But if you punch or destroy a IO expander, you get 2 back. So you can have quite a lot of these if you keep punching them. Unfortunately, well, to be honest, they don't really have much for use because it's pretty much 1 per CPU. So yeah, I don't particularly have any need for 17 of them. But now I have them. Hey, why not, huh? So I'm just gonna work a bit on covering up this panel here. So hopefully I've pretty much now covered that up entirely. I don't think there's anything that's open except for obviously our 3 kind of front tiles. I also wanted to leave this one open so I could have this little portal here to look through. Hello! And obviously you've got these 3 side ones so we can move it about with the lovely little motors here, and still have side bits hanging out. As you can see, that's the block there I wanted to have still there so I could look around. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The only thing we've really got left to do now, I believe, is programming. This is where the fun stuff comes in. But I do need to basically look at what motors do what. So I've got this orange wire going to my up motor, so that's going to be my opening motor, and my white wire is going to my closing motor. It's going downwards. So we're going to have to bear that in mind. And the way I'm going to do programming is I'm going to go up to... Oh, actually first I need a boot disk. Okay, so now I've finally got some redstone, I can go ahead and combine a floppy disk. They're really easy to make. If you're interested in the recipe, you can look it up. Actually I'll show you. And basically I just combine that with a blank floppy disk and it will give me a boot disk. So as you can see, it's just pretty much 1 iron and a bunch of wood. And then what I do is I stick this boot disk inside my floppy drive, which is this little lovely piece of machinery here. I go to my CPU and I say, okay, reset, and then start. And hopefully, if I've done that right, it should come up with the OS here, which is loaded from the boot disk. If you don't do that, you're not going to have this here, and it won't have all your commands. As you can see here, has a bunch of pre-built commands in that you can use for different stuff. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is we'll want to basically have a command to pulse our orange and red wires, basically. So I'm going to define a new command, and the way you do that is essentially the colon is define, and then I've just called it PW for pulse white, and then we can actually write some code for it. So as I'm pulsing white at the moment, I'm first going to want to turn pretty much turn everything off. Actually no, I'll turn white on first. So white is 1 on the IRX expander. So I basically said turn wire 1 on. The wires sort of go up in multiples of 2. So white is 1, orange is 2, but then there's another one at 4, another one at 8 for each of the different colours. You can look them up online. I'll leave a link below in the description. But that's the basic principle of it. I'm then going to wait 8 ticks, which is slightly less than half a second, because there's 20 ticks in a second. And basically, this will give us time for our motor to keep moving. And then I'm going to turn it off and wait another 8 ticks. So I basically waited nearly a second for my motor to move a block. Because basically, if you pulse it too fast, your motor will only move when it's it can only really receive a pulse again once it's finished moving. So if you pulse 5 times, and then after that 5 times it just finishes stopping, it will only have moved once, if that makes sense. And then we're just going to end this definition here. Okay, so now we've got a pulse white. We're also going to want to make a pulse orange. As you can see, PO here. Let's turn our second our expander wire on. Wait for 8 ticks. I probably could have like written something for the last part of it, and do the same again. 8 ticks. Okay. I'm sorry if I can't really take the time to explain this. I might do a extra video on how to kind of program with the 4th language, but yeah, for now you've kind of got to take it for granted. It's a really bad way of saying it, but I'll promise I'll try and explain it at some point in the future. So now we're going to actually program opening our door, and the way we're going to do this is, let's say we want open, or maybe I should just write it in lowercase, be easier to type later. So I'm defining a new command called open, and I'm basically want to loop. Actually, first I'll turn everything off just in case. Then I'm going to do a loop, so I'm going to want to do move 3 times. Okay, yep. And then I'm going to want to pulse orange, I believe, for open. I'm going to have to loop that. And I'm going to use page, and I'm going to write just something for fun. Let's say door opening. Okay, and we'll end that definition. So hopefully, when we type open, our door should now, maybe not. We're pulsing orange. That'd be why. We're pulsing orange, it's meant to be white. Oh dear, okay. So now let's rewrite that command. Let's define a our open command again. Oh, hello. Now let's define our open command again. So we're going to do the same loop. Actually first, yeah, 0 IRX just in case. Same loop again, B0, do, and then we're going to pulse white for our open. We're going to loop, we're going to page, and we are going to print out some text of door, if I can spell, door opening. Okay, please mind the door. Now let's try this again. Open. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Alright. Now the real question is, can we close it again? I'm just gonna probably should make some blocks here just in case some mobs try and get in whilst I am programming. Okay. So now we go back to our monitor, and writing the close function is pretty easy too. It's pretty much as easy as the open function was. So close. Define close. First we're going to turn everything off just in case, and yeah, we're going to do our loop again, and we are going to pulse orange. Okay, and loop, and let's page, and then let's print something out. Door closing. Okay, and end our definition there. So now when we type close, fingers crossed, maybe not. Okay, so that was basically me being really silly, and where I placed that marble across there, obviously it had no space to open, so it was not going to do that. So if I now close the door, it will go back up here. Ta-da! Okay, so with the whole kind of scenery here done, the actual door looks pretty cool. As you can see, I've put another monitor here, and I can walk through and close it up like so. Oh. This one seems to be glitchy. Maybe I've bugged it out with this one, but it does close it like that.